This is a Roots jacket. It's a man's jacket, and it's probably about 25 to 26 years old.
You said it was a Roots jacket. How can you tell?
Well, that's a Roots label inside the jacket, and I also remember, find the Roots label. There's the Roots label, and also remember when your father bought it. So there is a Roots factory sale, so discount clothing, and he came home with this jacket. And the reason that it was on sale is that there was, at the time, a minor flaw. I don't recall that it was this big, so I don't know if that happened later, but there was a minor flaw in the coat, and so Roots clothes tend to be very expensive, but this was discounted. So, as you know, your father's a excellent shopper, always looking for the best deal, and so he got this lovely jacket for a very low price.
What is the main fabric of the garment?
So it's leather. It's a sort of a tan browny leather, and with what appears to be like a silk lining.
Now you mentioned that this was a sign of wear. Are there any other signs of wear?
Yeah, so the collar, the lines coming away from the collar. Also, the leather is wearing around the collar, so it's becoming broken up and changing in color. And as well, you can see wear along the seams and along the, close to the end of the sleeves, and then the woolen material that makes up the cuff is also starting to fray. So it's been well worn, and it's showing it.
Is there any specific part of the garment that catches your eye today?
Well, I think the main thing when you look at it is the flaw in the back. But I think the other thing is that the colors have changed over the years. So it used to be more of a uniform color, but you can see that it's darker in some areas, lighter, shinier in some places, and also there's some lines that are forming in the fabric as well. So it shows that the leather wears in different ways. This arm in particular looks like it's been drier, so maybe more exposed to the sun than the rest of the garment.
Yes, I agree. How does the garment smell?
I don't know. It doesn't have a distinct smell to me. So, just like a leather garment.
What is the smell of a leather garment?
Well, I don't know how to describe it. It's I don't know how you would describe it. Sorry.
I don't know, but I think a car.
It smells like a car? Well, it doesn't have a new car smell, that's for sure. I don't know, it smells, I mean, this is more like a texture. It smells kind of warm to me.
I think the inside smells a bit. What weight does the garment have?
Oh, so it's a very heavy coat. So it was good for fall winter wear. So it's got a lot of heft to it. I think that comes largely from the leather itself. So it's a very thick leather.
How does the garment feel on the body?
Oh, well, it's very comforting, and very warm.
And you mentioned comforting. How else does it make you feel, or can you elaborate more on the comfort that it makes you feel?
Sure. Well, I would say that it, because it's a heavy coat, it makes you feel that you're well protected in terms of the weather, and also it's almost like you can wrap yourself in the warmth. So and wrapping yourself in something warm for me is a sense of comfort.
That is a sense of comfort for me. That's why I took it many years ago from Cure. So we've gone through these stages, And does any memories arise from experiencing the garment again in such a way?
So the only thing, so when I think of this coat, I think of being pregnant, because it was, as I mentioned, your father bought it for himself. It's not a coat, you know, your father's 6'1", I'm 5'4", so this isn't a coat that was designed for someone like me. But when I became pregnant, and I don't remember where he bought the coat, if I was pregnant with you or pregnant with Brendan, I started wearing the coat because I needed something that could wrap around my larger size, but didn't want to buy a special new coat. So so when I think of the coat, I think of being pregnant and how happy that made me. When you're pregnant, you can experience sort of extremes of temperature. I was always very warm, so I was able to wear this coat, you know, longer into the fall and winter because it wasn't a full winter coat, but between my own internal furnace and the coat, I was warm enough. I think also of it. I wore it a couple of times when we would be going out with friends, and so I think of it. I think of happy times with old friends.
Now, I found a photo that might be it. The jacket being worn. I don't know if it was during a time that you wore it. It's probably a time during when Dad wore it, but it's on the ground, like on a couch, laying on a couch beside you and Uncle Brian. And I was wondering if you remembered that or remembered these times.
So what I'm guessing just from the pictures around it and the coats that are in the closet, your father would have been wearing it, and this would have been a ski trip. So we would have been, who's that? Dennis? So we would have been on a ski trip with friends. It would have been the early 90s. And we would have been someplace like Vermont or Quebec, probably.
I remember a story that you told me once about my birth, and you related this coat to it, but I don't know if that's me just remembering incorrectly.
Well, it's quite possible. When I asked your father, preparing for this conversation, I asked him when he thought he bought the coat, and he said he thought it was 26 years ago, and that I took it from him when I was pregnant with you. So that's his recollection. So that's probably true.
What's your favorite part of the garment now?
I don't think I have a favorite part. What I liked about it was its bulky comfort. So it wasn't, and at the time the style would have been for bulkier clothes. And so I liked the fact that it was, I love the color, and I like the fact that it, was Canadian, so a roots product, and that it gave me lots of warmth.
How has now that, so Dad wore it, you wore it, Kira wore it for a bit before I stole it, and then I have been wearing it. So how do you feel about it, seeing it on Kira or I 26 years later?
So I love the fact that we continue to use it. I'm, and you know this about me, I'm less, as the coat gets more worn and visibly, wearing, I'd sort of like to repair parts of it rather than, because it's starting to look a little bit ragged. So I love the fact that we can continue to wear it. I think that we probably should have taken better care of it, treating the leather, and that, there are some parts of it that, maybe get the cuffs repaired so it looks a little less ragged.
Now I have to confess something, and I feel so bad about it. Those marks on the back were from a night in 2014 when I went to a party at Sean's and I came home that night, like, you know me, sober as hell, but I came home that night and I saw those marks, and I was just so ashamed and also depressed at the time. So I didn't look into ways to fixing it, and I really regret that.
Oh, well, that's too bad. But then that's a memory for you about a party at Sean's. But there was some flaw, which is why we got it cheaper. I just don't remember what it was.
When in the past, when you were pregnant and wearing it, what did you wear with it? Because I've seen photos of you when you were pregnant, or when we were just born, and you always wore this like thick white sweater that had a turtleneck. Was that something you wore with it, or do you remember anything else that you wore?
I don't remember specifically, but again, the style of the day would have been high-waisted jeans, thick Nordic type of sweaters, big sweaters with leggings, and so I wore a lot of that, and would have worn it. That would have been really comfortable while pregnant and after pregnancy. So I do remember a lot of things like that, but I would have worn it also. Post-pregnancy, I would have worn it just with jeans, and I don't remember wearing it any time when I was dressed up. So it would have been more when I was in casual style.
Now, a habit of Dad's and is that he likes to get rid of things. Why do you think? Why do you think?
He isn't a fan of clutter.
No, he isn't.
And he's
Even
challenged
though he
in
is
our
sometimes.
family.
Yes.
Because we tend to keep a lot of stuff, yes.
Yeah. I was wondering why, and we also moved house in the 26 years that we have been a family. Why, and his coat has been around, why has it been one that has stayed throughout that time? Because Kira only took it when she was a teenager, so...
Yeah, I don't remember us consciously talking about that, but I would have worn it occasionally through that period. It was a good quality coat, so it wouldn't be something that we would have thought to throw out. So, I don't think there was a conscious decision other than it's a good leather coat. It'll last for years, so we should keep it.
Yeah, I'm very happy that it is around because it does provide that same comfort that you enjoy as well. And the last question is, what does this garment mean to you?
Well, I think it brings to me a sense of family, given that your father bought it and wore it. I wore it while I was pregnant, and now my children are wearing it. So for me, it brings a sense of continuity and family.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.